Hey everybody, so I'm just going to be here doing some analysis on Bitcoin. This is my first upload, so I'm just going to be doing analysis for free on Bitcoin or any other altcoins. Once the channel grows, I'll start doing altcoin requests, but for now, I'll be focusing on Bitcoin and some other altcoins that I like. So first of all, uh, the goal of my channel is just to kind of provide analysis, whether it's bearish or bullish or whatever. Like, I'm not going to pick a side because I don't really care about that. I think that that's stupid, like being forever bullish or forever bearish. Like, if you need to play a market, you have to play the way it's actually going. You can't just be perma bullish, perma bearish. That's just not how it works. It's just not smart. So anyways, I'll show you guys the tools I use and, where I think the general direction of the market is going. And once again, this is not financial advice. It's just analysis and hopefully you can learn from it or get a better idea of how the market moves. Alright, just to start off, we're going to be using the Pitchfork tool, the Andrews Pitchfork, and we're going to be using the original and the shift setting. So the way these pitchforks work, or the way I kind of use them, is you go from a higher high to a lower low, and then you go to a lower high. So then this pitchfork gets created like this, and you can see that there's kind of like a downtrend going on, and the way it reacts to the pitchfork's median line and the upper bound and lower bounds, that kind of gives you a sense of where price is going to move to or move from. So if we go to the original one here, you can see that this pitchfork is kind of accurate. Like, we have a reaction on the median line here 3 times, but it's not really that good. Like, this is kind of serving as a support for its own little trend, as you can see, like that, you know. So this is kind of like it's not as accurate as we need it to be. So we're gonna look for a better pitchfork, and if we can't find one, then we got this to use. So instead of using this lower low, I'll just use this one because it's the lowest low, and then the rebound high. You just want to make sure you get the absolute tip. You don't want to mess up and accidentally get one of these smaller wicks. Just make sure it's connected. There we go. So now you can see that this pitchfork kind of has better reaction going on. So if we go to the original, you can see like we bounced from the lower bound, we went all the way up. Now we're retesting the median line, and now it's time to see whether we're going to keep going up or we're not going to hold it. So part one of my analysis is just to find out this overall kind of trend, because the way I do it is like this pitchfork right here. If it goes to the bottom, it's eventually going to go to the top, and the median line just kind of acts like a magnet from whichever way it's going. So if it's going from top, it's going to go towards the median line. It might bounce here if it wants to change trend or fake out, bounce a couple times, keep making lower highs, and then fall through and eventually go down to the lower trend. And the same scenario can be done in reverse, and that's kind of what we're looking for here, is that what's going on. So let me just take all of this off. Alright, so to do that, we're going to use the stochastic RSI and the RSI. So over here you can see that the stochastic RSI is pretty oversold, right? And we're getting into extremely oversold levels on the 3-hour RSI. And this confluence is when it just has a reaction from the median line. So now an RSI downtrend, or any RSI trend, is extremely important to look at, because this trend right here, though it may look like it broke, the only way like a trend is for sure gonna break is if you see a trend break in the RSI as well. So right now we've got an ongoing sharp downtrend, like on that degree. But you can see that the RSI, it's also still part of this downtrend. So although it looks oversold as hell right here, it can easily just go up to like 60K, deny, and crash down. It can just, do a bearish wave like this. RSI can, um, if RSI goes here, it can just reject off here again before going back up. As long as it's below this orange line, I will not believe that whatever pump we have is actually going to break the downtrend. So as long as the RSI is in a downtrend, the market is in a downtrend. Alright, so we've been looking at the 3-hour over here. So this is kind of like the longer output. So what it tells me is that we're soon enough, like we're going to bottom out here, right? And, I expect a little pump going on. Maybe we get 60K, maybe if we're kind of bullish, 62K. But essentially what we want to see is an increase above 63.5. So if we draw a horizontal line here, so about this line, as long as we're above 63.5, we usually just stay above. See over here, we went up, went down again, but stayed up. Over here, we went down, went up again, rejected 63.5, stayed down. Same thing over here. These reactions, this is not like a coincidence. It's a key level for Bitcoin. Alright, so we know that that's kind of the more longer term scenario here, because we are looking at the 3-hour chart. So let's look at what's going to happen in the next couple hours. So now we go to the 30-minute, and you can see that we are kind of topping out on the RSI over here, the stochastic over here, and if we see the downtrend in the RSI, we're still in a downtrend, and if we want to make it a little bit sharper, we can, kind of like this. It broke out of it, but if we go from this peak to this peak, it's kind of at that right now, and it looks like it's now starting an uptrend, but it can easily deny at any of these stages. It can deny, over here, right here, it can just start dumping again, or again, it can just go up, deny up there, break its uptrend. So it's right now it's kind of in like a middle place. But yeah, and we're probably not going to see a lot of volume right now because it is like 1 a.m. and markets are usually following the New York's stock exchange. So, but yeah, so now that we're done looking at the stochastics, let's move on to looking at the EMAs. So we did say earlier that, looking at the stochastic, the 30-minute stochastics and RSIs, Bitcoin is kind of in a weird place. But when we look at the EMAs, you can see right here. So this red line is the 100 EMA. This is the 200 EMA. The pink is the 20, and the white is the 9. So I use 9, 20, 100, and 200. Alright. So like I was saying, so these EMAs, they tell us a lot about overall market, you know, um, trend and what consumers are like really willing to pay, or how much they value this asset is kind of like a bigger way to see it. So these two lines are like the long-term value they hold to it, and these two lines would be the shorter term value. So if we look at the if we look at the EMAs over here, we can see that we're currently below the 9 EMA, so that means we're in a strong downtrend. The 20 EMA is above the 9 EMA, so whenever the higher EMA is above the lower EMA, that's a bearish signal, so and it's staying above, it seems like. And again, right here, this is known as a death cross, so the 200 EMA is crossing over the 100 EMA, which basically means that now, over the past 100 days, the coin is valued less than it is over the past 200 days. So now, over the past 100 days, like the value of it has decreased. So people used to value it around like 63K, but now they've, over the past 100 days, that value has gone down. Alright, so this means that if we just now crossed it, this is known as the death cross, like I said earlier, and this is extremely bearish. You do not want to be below these EMA levels and or see this kind of cross happening, because that means that the market wants to dump further. So as long as we are below all of these EMAs, you know, we are bearish. And even if we break through these ones, remember, this is just a short-term one. You might see a little green going on. You know, everybody's happy, it's pumping, and boom, rejected over here by one of these, straight down. You know, you want to be careful with your trades. You don't want to, you know, get faked out like that. Now that we're done looking at the EMAs, we can also take a look at the Keltner channels and Ichimoku clouds. So again, for the 30 minutes here, you can see that we're still ranging below the Ichimoku baseline, and we're below the cloud. The red part of the cloud is above the green part, which is also bearish. You want to see the green over the red. And this is overall looks just extremely bullish. Like we're denying the middle of the Keltner going down, denying, like, you know, we might deny over here. Again, this would be even more bearish, but if we kind of range over here, go up, deny the middle again, or maybe even if we have a pump out, we can, again, like I said, 60.2K, deny, you know, do a little fake out. That's where the baseline and the top of the Keltner is. So, you know, and if we, again, like when we look at the stochastics, let me just take that out. When we look at the stochastics, you can see like we are overbought at the bottom of the Keltner. So you kind of want to use these indicators like the Keltner channel, the Ichimoku, the EMAs in confluence with the stochastic RSI, because this is the momentum. This is a momentum indicator, and these are all lagging indicators. So they will, like, the information they display to you isn't in real time. Like, it's kind of like a little bit ahead. It's going to happen a little bit later. So if we know the market momentum is all the way up, you know, like it's at full momentum, but it's still below the bottom of the Keltner, like, you know, do you really think it's going to all the way, you know, fly to the moon? No, it's not. Like, momentum is going to start decreasing, and people are going to be like, yeah, like, this is how much we're valuing it at right now. We want to sell, we want to sell, we want to sell. Okay, so now let's look at the 3 hour. Again, we are expected for a pump soon. We are oversold as hell, and we are ranging below the middle of the Keltner. So, sorry, we are okay. So we are looking at the 3 hour. We are oversold on the stochastic. We are below the bottom of the Keltner. So I'm thinking like a little bit more down, maybe to like 58K. You know, let's see, look at the daily. Yeah, like 58K, 58.5K. And then kind of get a little bit more of a pump all the way back up to maybe 60, 61K, deny the bottom of the Keltner. That would kind of make sense. You know, we can see this curve down is not a good thing. Looking at the Ichimoku, again, 61K, 60K area, this would be the perfect region to deny. And again, you can see like all of these EMAs, they're conjugating, and you can see the 9 EMA already went below the higher time frames. And now if the 20 and the 100, 200, they do a bearish movement, like bearish cross, then, you know, it's over. Like, we're going down. We're rejecting up here, false pump, boom, we go down more. And down to where? Well, I would say we are going down to 55K, you know, 55, 55.3, this area over here, because we are gonna need to go down once more. But if we are being more bearish, then if we swap this pitchfork right here to the original form, we can even go as far down as 52K, 51K, bounce off this median line like we have been for the past however long, like, you know. So don't be surprised if that happens, because this uptrend is not gonna hold.